don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Sorry, we are here just a little late. Kind of let the time get away from me. I just recently went and picked up a couple of new toys. So much so, and in such quick order, I'm probably definitely most definitely on a list somewhere. But I was doing some rearranging and doing some things that I do because I'm anal, and because of that, well, I forgot what time it was. It is 9:12 p.m. on Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. Producer Kate is at the controls down in the duck control room, doing what she does and making the show run smoothly. I hear rain on the roof. Chris Bunner says, hey, Chris Bunner, I don't know what you're doing. I'm gonna call you tomorrow. Oh, no. I forgot to call somebody. I want to tell you. Oh, my God. I tell you, I've let so much slip. First off, Chris Bunner, I'm going to call you tomorrow. I have to tell you something privately. But if you don't hear from me by like lunchtime, please call me or text me or something and stir. I think something's happening with my memory. I'm getting older, and I think it is going the way of my youthfulness, I guess. But please call me if you don't hear from me by about noon. I'm also going to put this out there. There is a person that asked me to call them today, and I was on my way to Winchester and going into a meeting that I had scheduled with Mr. Niles Thornburg, Kate's husband, and I was not able to talk to the person right then. I told him I would call them back. I only told one person today that I would call them back after the Winchester deal. If you're that person, I will call you tomorrow. We'll get done too late to call you tonight, but I will call you tomorrow. So please forgive me. I will call you. For everybody else, welcome. Thank you for being here. This is the 530th episode of the Political Spotlight. If you could, smash that like button, hit all that stuff, do all of that stuff if you would. Communicate with us. Don't communicate with us. You know the drill. Here's how you can find us, yada, yada, yada. And we got a lot to get to. Before we bring up our special contributing correspondent, I do have to say two quick things. Number one, somebody just tagged me in something that they're talking about in Muncie. Somebody tagged me and said, just out of curiosity, why is it that every time Muncie has any paving done, someone, generally a utility company, comes almost immediately behind them and then cuts into the freshly laid pavement? I mean, the paint is still wet. Can anyone from the city council, administration, or somebody answer this? And I can answer this. I'm not from the city council. I'm not from the administration. But I did stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night, and I can answer this question. It is because we have a problem communicating in the city of Muncie. We won't reach out and talk to the water company, the electric company, the gas company. We don't, the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. Oftentimes the city doesn't know what the Muncie Sanitary District is even doing. And so we'll pave a stretch of roadway and make it look beautiful, make it look wonderful. And then almost instantly, as soon as it gets done, the water company says, well, we got to come through here and put up in line or whatever. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what is happening on Tillotson. And this is why Tillotson has been so badly derailed for so long, because they have been doing work down Tillotson. We were actually scheduled to have Tillotson paved, but they wanted to pave it only after AEP, the electric company, dealt with their lines and their cuttings and all of that stuff. So we as a city, the city is actually waiting on AEP to finish up before any paving is done. And I know a lot of people are griping, and I am griping too. And Tillotson needs to get wrapped up, and I'm there. That's not going to be done, and everything's not going to be done with Tillotson until into next year, maybe late next year. But however horrible it is, I will tell you, once it is done, it will be done, and there won't be any cutting into it, at least not straight away. So that is something good, I can tell you. But that is what's going on there. And all I would say is, in order to stop this, we just need to do more planning. We're in that situation, and I'll give it to Mr. Rob Kiesling. Mr. Rob Kiesling, the liaison or whatever. I don't even know what he does, but he's that little, I call him Lex Luthor. He's the bald man, and he's just everywhere doing this little magic here and there and pulling these strings. So that was his brainchild, and I will credit him and the city for what they're doing on Tillotson, and can't wait till that is done. I just hope that the city does more of that with other utility companies around the city, but it sounds like it's not. I'll have to message that person and find out where they're even talking about. So that's that. The last thing I want to say about Muncie before we move to Anderson, Madison County, and that is the last couple of nights, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we've been focusing on some national stuff, obviously still going on. We've been focusing on Muncie budget process, Delaware County budget process, and all of that stuff. Tonight, we're going to focus on Madison County's budget process. They had a meeting last night, Tuesday, and it was almost another 4-hour meeting, 4 or 5-hour meeting. Madison County has these meetings frequently. And they had a meeting last night, and there was all kinds of ups and downs and chaos and craziness going on there. So we're going to be talking with Katherine Callahan about that. But the only other thing that I wanted to mention before we switch to Madison County was, as Chris Bunner said, there was no live stream or recording of the Board of Works in Muncie today. Muncie did have a Board of Works session, but there was no live streaming of it. There were no live streaming. I should say more grammatically correct. No one live streamed it. And I have heard that it's because Mr. Mark Slusher once again is back in the hospital. Apparently, he's having some serious issues. I'm telling you, just last night, the night before, whatever, I'm very critical, very harsh towards Mark Slusher. And I do not like Mark Slusher as a contract employee. Personally, I don't know him. I don't care one way or another. That being said, I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. My thoughts and my prayers are with Mr. Slusher and his speedy recovery, whatever goes on. I want him to get well, get better, get out, and then be fired by the city as quickly as possible. I want him to be happy and healthy and fired. So my thoughts and my prayers are for his health and his well-being, and so that's that. But yeah, there is no meeting. We won't be. It's not going to be. Maybe they have an audio recording of it. Probably not. I'll have to. Maybe I'll have to find out. But kind of ridiculous. So I'll keep you posted on what goes on there, and we'll see. I will get all of the notes and the minutes and find out what there is to find out there. And I will see whose ass other than Mark's we need to chew for this, because there were people in the building that could have live streamed this. I don't know why that didn't happen. So I will look into that. Without further ado, yeah, they need a backup plan. Well, we just need 3 plans. We need the person in charge, and then we need like a backup plan, and then like a backup to the backup just to be careful. That would be good. I don't understand why this is so hard. What they always say is, well, it's not a big deal if we miss one. It's not a big deal if it doesn't, but it's a big deal because it happens a lot. So that's why it's a big problem. So, all right, without further ado, we are going to bring up our contributing correspondent, Dr. Katherine Callahan, to the stage. And she's here.
What are you doing?
Much.
Listen, I turned off the light because it always gave me like a halo.
Yeah.
And then it was like a, oh.
Yeah, it's not really like a halo,
angel.
but it did look, yeah, this looks better. Let me see what happens when I do this. Ooh, this is like good and evil.
So I had a little mood light going on.
Let's see what's going on here. Ooh, no.
You still have the glare on your glasses, though.
Yeah, I always do that. That way you can't see my eyes.
Look a little more open.
Well, not your eyes. Your eyes are not a little bit more open. They're still as squinty as they've ever been, but go ahead.
Well, thank you for my hair looking nice. I just went out and ran in the rain.
Your hair looks fine. Your eyes are kind of like that, but go on.
They're like diamonds.
Yeah. Something like that.
Well, it's been an exciting time. I will tell you, I know you guys, you know that I like bounce from wall to wall around here. And I tell Kristopher, like, this is what we're going to talk about. And then, things happen. So I just want to spin off of, we had audio video problems last night in Lapel.
In Lapel?
In Lapel. Yeah, Smokey, it's October is coming.
Yes,
Smokey,
it is.
Smokey. So there were people watching my feed. At one point I had 60 people watching my feed. Like, I was like really stoked about that, because sometimes I wonder, well, come to find out that that Lapel's audio video was down. They kind of got it back up. But I think you could only hear, and I'm telling you, everybody, you missed the show. And was it a show? I'm telling you, believe it or not, Rick Gardner literally was at the podium and began to weep.
Wait,
he needed
whoa, hold on, stop.
$500,000.
Wait, back, skirt, back up. What? I thought you were telling us about Lapel.
I am. I gotta tell you.
Wait, so to get to Lapel, you're telling us about Rick Gardner?
I am.
All right, I'm gonna. I will allow it. We'll see.
Okay. So as you watch this public servant get up there and literally weep, because we need to all know where we've come from. Yes. I want you to know that there is a strong group of women and one man, and we don't weep at the podium. We roar at the podium. And so through that, we got some attention for the water. And so Bree and Nicole and Heidi and Rebecca Crooms and Christy Worthman, Alicia West, trying to remember Aaron Kapuzinski, so you have to, include them. We got some coverage from Aaron Brockovich, who agrees with us peasants over here that we've got a water issue. Now, I want you to know that it does not take a rocket science for pictures that speak 1,000 words, as Nicole's putting up hers and Bree's putting up hers and Heidi's putting up hers. I mean, the news is even covering this, but we can't seem to get our own journalists in our own backyard. Even the political spotlight is covering this. So we've roared enough and we've shaken enough bushes and we've set off enough sprinklers that we've caused enough smoke to get some coverage. So there is a great article on Facebook. If anybody wants to do that, we ask that you go on to the post. You can either find it on Bree's, Nicole's, my page, wherever you go. On there is a link to the article. If you click on the article, because Bree had to tell me that, like, get my head out of my rear end. She's like, you can do this. So, because you have to sign up, you got to do all this techie stuff. And then Nicole's like, how hard is this, Katherine? Like, come on. Every day's your first day when it comes to the technology. I said, well, that's what I got you guys for. Right? So just like tonight, the reason why we're late is because I had to call Kristopher because I couldn't figure out how to get on. Last week, Kate had to put me under hers.
Well, I think I added you back, and if I did, then it is totally a you problem, which believe me, I understand. And if I didn't, then it's a me problem.
See, you look spooky like that.
Who?
You, when you put that light on your face like that.
What light?
Oh, yes, don't forget Lisa. See, these guys got to help me. And Alexandra was not covered in this article. It was quite a lengthy article, so we can only cover
wait, back up. Why can't you not get on? You're on. Your name is on.
Well, now.
But did you get on through the show tonight, or did we invite you?
You invited me.
So you didn't get on. Yeah, so I don't understand. You can get on the old way again.
It says it's a 404 page, like the page is dead or something.
All right. Yeah. Okay. We'll try it after the show.
So anyways, so we get this coverage. I just want everybody to know. And then it's kind of comical because I got this message in Messenger and I want to read this to the people. So Bree and Nicole, if you're watching, I'd like you to take some notes on this, this message that I received in Messenger. Let me go here and read this message.
And we're still getting to the lapel stuff. Is that what you're telling me?
We're talking about it right now.
Well, how did that have anything
Where
to do
have you
with
been?
Rick Gardner? I'm trying to figure out what that had to do with Rick Gardner.
Well, his tears turned into our glory, and his waterworks turned into our discovery of water with Aaron Brockovich.
Okay.
Listen, I'm trying to tie this all together. Can you just work with me here?
No, I know. We're trying to more segment it so we have an full understanding of what we're talking about, rather than tying things. Go on. Tell us what we're getting at. Jesus.
Okay. So this is what I want. This is what was shared with me.
No, he wasn't. He was at the Madison County meeting. See, Kate can't even follow. Look, Gardner was at the Madison County Council meeting, and they were having.
Following.
Did you say that there was trouble videoing in lapel? Is that what you're getting ready to tell us?
That's always a problem. So let me tell you something, Delaware County residents, if you are paying attention, what should happen is Kristopher should be at all these and should have them on live feeds. I mean, I'm over there in Madison County making sure we've got a backup to a backup because, they don't want any of this documented. True. It's budget time. And this budget time, they don't want you to have any evidence, right? Same thing in lapel. Yeah. There has to be, at some point, like a 3-strike home rule that says if you guys can't get it together, and you're lost more than 3 times in a 12-month period, you get a fine, or you have to cancel your meeting, or there has to be some repercussions for these people, because this is ridiculous.
Katherine, that's a great thing. Let me tell you what happens. When the Indiana State Legislature was sitting around one day and they were like, what does it mean if Johnny stabs Paul in the face with a knife and ends his life? Well, that's murder. What should we do? He should get these steps if that happens, and he should get trouble. And if you speed over the speed limit, you get a fine. Well, what's funny to me is the state legislature likes to put fines and imprisonment and all of these punishments
on we the people
in place when there are laws for we. Yeah,
they would find Nicole. They would find Bree. They would find me. But they find you.
But when they put a law in place for them, it's ambiguous. It's left open-ended, and there's no punishment. Matter of fact, they even write into it and say, you need to be live streaming all of these meetings, but if you don't, it's no big deal.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, see, my team, our team, however they want to say that. Oh, look, my daughter, she's wanting to FaceTime me. I have to tell her I'm on. Listen,
Is that
I'm on
Oriental
right
music?
Bye. They don't like this. Okay. So
is that Oriental music when they call?
Well, usually hers are church bells, and the other one's a choo-choo train.
They don't like what? They don't like you podcasting?
They don't want to be in the limelight.
Oh, they don't want to be on podcast. Okay.
So Bree and Nicole, if you're listening, this is what I said. This person says, well, I've been out of pocket, but you have been on a tear. Congrats on getting Aaron Brockovich's attention and your crew, which they're not my crew. They're just wonderful ladies, and we're all extensions of each other's. See, this is why you want to be a female. We get our tentacles into all kinds of things. You guys only have one tentacle. Okay. So congrats on getting Aaron Brockovich. Okay. Please clue her in on Owens Brockway glass as a huge contributor to contamination of the air, as well as Ford Street well. So there's a Ford Street well. Now, Bree may already know this information. So, and then hopefully Nicole can dig up the information, or however. The two of them make a very good complement because they both have these great skills in 2 different areas. Owens nationally has deep pockets and a horrible track record of environmental contamination. That will get the attention of her environmental attorneys, hopefully. Lapel for decades has had extremely rare genetic disorders and cancers. The statistical odds of all of these diseases co-locating in the same 3 square miles in a 1 in a trillion chance. And then I've got all the names, and I know who these people are. And I know what the disease processes were. They have passed, these people. Owens may not be responsible for all of it, but it's a good place for her to start. And by the way, you effing rock, and so do your people. Keep it up. So good. I just want everybody to know that by chance, we all came together over the same common cause. We just wanted the world to be better. That's all. We wanted elected officials to actually listen to us. We wanted elected officials to treat us fairly. And all we got were gavels. So here we are with Kristopher Bilbrey and running on your platform. And I think even you kind of gave up on Madison County, and then you met all of us and you said, oh, the gates of heaven have come.
Something like that. Yes.
I hope Grandma and Grandpa's watching.
No, they are specifically not. They are sleeping early tonight. So they are not here. They might be watching tomorrow morning, but they are not watching right now.
So, and let's be honest. Okay. So we don't cry at the podium, but we do have our own tears behind the scenes. And some days are harder than others for all of us. I'm sure you even have those days too, you know. You're beating your head against the wall. Water's pretty important, but the job got done. The article is up. It's an amazing start. It's an amazing article for the water. So I hope we can keep this momentum. I encourage people, tap on that link. Aaron Brockovich wants to hear your story. Okay. That link is not Katherine Callahan, Bree Davis, Nicole. Now we're going to be reading stuff, and it'll help guide us a little bit, but you are talking with Aaron and her team now. They've greased the wheels. Nicole and Lisa and Bree and Miss Crooms, they're all out there. Everybody plays a vital role. You have played a vital role out there putting things up. People are aware. So go and write your concerns, show your pictures. People, if you're testing your water, share your results, whatever it is. Feel free to reach out to any of us on social media about the water. We'll be happy to help. I encourage you to reach out more to them than to me, because they are a lot more knowledgeable on this subject matter than I am. So I give them the majority of the credit. Sometimes I'm just their cheerleader on the side in their voice at times when they need it. They have their own voice, just let me be clear, but I try to help where I can. So these guys did some great work tonight. I will tell you, my hat is off to them for getting Aaron Brockovich in this loop. So this is kind of incredible work here. Who would have ever thought?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
Megan, that's exactly right. The misinformation anywhere is always a problem. That's why people have to trust, dig, verify, look. And I tell people the same way here. I agree with this, but still go look. If you disagree, that's fine. I don't get mad if someone disagrees, as long as they disagree and they go look. If they go look and they say, maybe they come up with something different than what I've said, but a lot of times they will go look and say, oh, wait, he was right. And so that's fine. You can disagree, but you can't just disagree and then go away and say, well, I just disagree. That's it. You have to go do the research and work and whatever. We're trying to give you the information that can help you go do that. But, I'm okay with people disagreeing. We have a question here from, I think, a first-time comment, a long-time viewer.
Let me say one thing to Nicole and Bree. I need a link to the article that does not go through Facebook, because I've got people who are watching this. They do not do Facebook, and they want the article in a different way. So I don't know if
you should be able to do that.
You can figure that out for me, because I ain't figuring it out.
Go put it on Google Docs or something. So longtime viewer, first time commenter here. It looks like the political spotlight says, why was Gardner crying? I think we're still trying to figure out. It looks like Kate's still trying to get to the bottom of that story.
Okay, well, we're gonna get there to that story when we bring up the meeting. So hats off to Bree, their team, Nicole. I say our team, so I don't want anybody on here to be thinking this is my team. It's not. It's our team. I know sometimes words can come out a little bit differently, so it's our team. Everybody plays a vital role. Okay, so I've got that, so I'll get that sent to these people. And then maybe, Kristopher, you can find a way to put it on YouTube after the show, so people can have that as well. So with no further ado, do you want to talk about the budget meeting?
Yeah.
All right. So that was exciting times, you guys. The budget meeting was just a crazy time last night. It started at 5:30, so it started 30 minutes early. I really thought that we would get out a lot earlier, but it was well after 10 o'clock before we got out of that meeting. And so I don't know how many budget meetings you've been to, Kristopher, but this is now my third one out of 5 that the meeting, we go line by line. The very first meeting we had like this went till almost 1 o'clock in the morning. Then we had the second meeting, and that one went fairly late. And now here we are going line by line again, putting in numbers. And it was the craziest thing last night was even crazier than what I'd seen the times before. So I don't know why we do it that way. You're asking people to think on their feet. You're asking department heads to make decisions. And then you hear them say, now, Todd, can you make sure you get everybody their corrections tomorrow? And so they can take a look at it to see what we've cut. Now, here's what I'll tell you. If I was running that council, those budgets would have already been cut. This is what I would have said to them. Here's everybody's departments. Your department has to cut 10%. Your department has to cut 12% or whatever. It doesn't have to be everybody, or you can just say everybody across the board has to cut 10% to get me to my 2 million. If you choose not to, by Monday at 5, Tuesday night, we're going to have a meeting and I am going to cut you.
So that's what happens in. So,
I mean, that's what adulting or running a budget does. Like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you what to cut. And oh, and by the way, when I cut you because you didn't take the initiative, I want you to understand that there will be no money requests for any line item in which I cut.
So if I
And
had
no
a
transfers.
dollar for every budget meeting I've been in, I would have not a lot of money, but I would have a large amount of dollars, I guess. And they're different across the board. So it goes different by what's doing it. So for example, Muncie and Anderson, that are second class cities, they do theirs different than, say, Delaware County, Madison County, Randolph County, Winchester and Newcastle, that are third class cities. They do theirs differently. Muncie's do their meetings in a series of special meetings that last an hour, hour and a half each, and they go through and blah, 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 blah. Delaware County does a series of meetings. They start on day one and they do a meeting that lasts from 8 o'clock in the morning until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I mean, it lasts 13, 14 hours. And then the next day they come in and they give it another good 10, 12-hour day. And then they might do another day that week of a 10. They do like 3 or 4 days in a row of 10 to 12-hour days. And they're going line by line through everything in the county. And then the following week, they might come in and they might do 4 or 5 hours, a couple of different days. And they whittle it down and they keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And so your budget meetings, they're weird because it's like they start at nighttime and do them till late in the evening. They should start in the daytime a little bit and allow for those department heads to come in and do all that stuff. They are strange how they do them. It's not crazy that they're long, but it is crazy how your budget meetings are ran in Madison County.
And it's so weird because in the past, it's always been ran by just Ben Gale and Anthony Emery, Diana Likens, and Rob Steele. Those four make the decisions, and then the others are kind of given these crumbs, which, I mean, maybe Bethany would argue that point, but so many times they were just left in the dark because they didn't want somebody like Bethany Keller to call them out and go, you can't do that.
Well, sure. Yeah.
And, and so it's not like she doesn't try. I mean, or what they'll do is they'll be like, okay, we're going to include you. Oh, here's the budget. And our meeting's tomorrow at 5. I mean, there's no way you can possibly go through that many line items and have a good handle on what's going on. So it was another meeting that clearly, and I gotta say, I know some of you are Green fans, but this is a true testimony of why a novice elected official, no matter how much experience the person has, should not be the president council the first year out. I mean, this is like taking a first-year medical student and making them chief resident of the residency program. Somewhere, this is totally screwed up. So I just want people to know. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the end of the meeting before we start talking about the beginning, because it was almost comical. So at the end of the meeting, after the cameras shut off, and I'm really sad that I shut off the cameras, but I knew they were waiting for us to shut them off. Diana Likens and Jonathan Kolb stood there and professed to one of the sheriffs. And they were speaking loud enough because they wanted me to hear it. They say, we really want to give you the raises. This is not our doing. It's because all the previous years they have overspent. Are you guys and
Which is,
Jonathan's
yeah.
agree? Are you guys even saying? Are you listening, Diana? You've sat on here almost 5 years.
Yeah. Who actually said that with their mouth hole?
Diana Likens. And here's
Okay,
the
that's
thing:
lovely.
when we watched part of this, Rick Gardner, literally, Diana is drooling out of both sides of her mouth to get them to make sure they give this $1 million to Rick Gardner last night. She was doing everything to pat his way and to feed him words and to say, this is why they need all this. And I thought, what is this? Because it's almost sickening to watch. And so to me, none of this money should have been given to the commissioners last night, but like in good fashion, it always passes. However, I will give Christy Grabowski a positive because she finally said no last night.
Wow.
And, that surprised me, but at some point we got to have some more people. We need 2 more people to say no.
Yeah, right.
So, so just listening to the claims to try to save face, with the sheriffs, I just can't. The amount of theatrics that went on last night was just out of control. So I don't know how many people actually watched last night. I know that by the time it got to about the 4-hour mark, we were down to about 20 people who were watching. It's long, it's boring, it causes all kinds of problems. But the other thing I want to draw your attention to is I felt like I was in good company last night. And the reason why I say this is because I was not the only person told that I had to be quiet. Do you know that they actually dismissed one of the deputy sheriffs who is actually, I think, now don't quote me, I think he's the union steward of the FOP for Madison County. He wanted to approach to tell their side, and he was told no. Now, fast forward, because, Mason was trying to tell them what's going on. Then they take a break and they adjourn. Well, once they adjourn, we have a lot of officers who are out in the corridor, and they actually stop Rob Steele. And they say to Rob Steele, do you understand that we cannot hire an officer without a contract? Now, I don't know what all that means. And they go, we don't even have a salary to put in front of an officer. So how exactly are we supposed to recruit without the contract? So we go back into session, and now by this time, so many people were so just deflated. They'd already been waiting for 3.5, 4 hours, and now you're taking a break. So, so some had left, and people have kids. I mean, these are young officers with young kids. Like, they've got to get home. They've been out all day. Some of these guys started work at 6 a.m. And so here it is, and they got to turn around and go back. So finally, another officer, she sees the moment, and she goes up to the podium and she says, may I speak on behalf of the officers? Do you know what Scott Green said to her?
What?
First, he was like, and then everybody's kind of looking at him, and you could tell. And then he goes, make it quick. The amount of disrespect is just like, you're kidding me, right? I mean, since when did God die and leave you the boss? You're screwing with these people's, cost of living raises. I mean, it was just off the total chain. So it was, and that the sheriff's name was Caitlin. She's been around. She was a road officer for 15 years. She did a phenomenal job. She kept her composure. I can't say the guys in the back kept their composure, but she did keep her composure the whole time. She kept calm. She'd be a good negotiator, that's for sure. And so, yes, it is story time with me. Get some warm milk.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's see a little bit of Rick's theatrics.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that. I want to answer some questions here real quick. A couple of people talked about if it's possible for them to get the budget that is proposed before it's voted on, and the answer to that is yes. It is a public document.
Okay, the answer is no, because it's been requested and it's been denied. I want by several people.
Who
and
requested
I
it and who was denied to? So who requested it?
Well, I can't tell you a couple of them.
Okay, so I guess back up. Who did they request it from?
Todd Culp.
Okay.
Only the department heads are allowed to have this.
That is inaccurate.
And if what we want to see, it is posted on the DLGF, but it's not an itemized one. So, yeah. And again, what I want to tell everybody, I wish, like Nicole, some of you guys go ahead and request it tomorrow morning, see what you get. I bet you won't get it anytime soon, but this is what I want to tell you. But it was late last night. By the time we started getting here, my head wasn't totally screwed on correctly. Like most days, I want no feedback from that. And they started putting up budgets, and I should have been taking pictures of the screen. So they told everybody that there will be no raises for next year. None.
Wait. Hold on. Let's stick with this for a second. So who has denied? Are you saying Todd Culp has denied these people?
Yeah.
So Todd have you seen these emails?
No. But okay, I'm telling you, the people who told me, I guarantee you it's true.
So, okay, I'm just asking because what I'll do is I will issue a record request tomorrow and have them tell me no, because it is definitely,
but you want the itemized one.
What? Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. I would
love it if you get this.
Yeah, what?
So here's the story with this. So while they had it up on the screen on the TV, I was like, oh, let me take a picture of this. Well, for some of you who actually watched me last night, I showed that like raises were going on everywhere. They had the health department up, just happened to be the health department. I took a picture of it. Mellinger's got a raise. Davis has got a raise. Their nurse has a raise. Who? Huh?
Davis who?
Joe Davis for the health department.
Okay.
So then somebody else is up, and I've got a picture of it. Their salaries are different. So here's the thing. Even if the health department comes back and says that was our 3% raise or bonus that they're supposed to be getting, it can't be, because Jody made it very clear that they had not included their 3%. And I haven't done the math to see what the difference is between, what I had and what they have now. The problem is I cannot give you a full understanding of what it is because the 2025 salaries have not been released. Mm-hmm. So that's a problem. Here's another problem. I had some salaries that were higher in 23 and lower in 24. Well, I don't know how much overtime these people had. So that plays another role in calculating some of their figures as well. And the one thing I want people to keep in mind, when the sheriffs have their salaries at the end of 26 and if they're comparing 25 and 26 and go, oh no, they got a raise. What's happening is they're dumping this one-time bonus in with their salary. So it does, the illusion is there that they got a raise, but it wasn't. It's just a bonus check that they got. And that really needs to be separated out. Because the officers are never going to be able to catch up to the cost of living when you're giving bonus checks.
Well, yeah,
that's never going to happen.
That's way stupid.
Right?
But
so
real
now,
yeah. Go on. I've not been able to finish my point yet. I'm trying to answer questions from like 3 hours ago. So
okay,
listen here. So I will. So when Megan and Nicole are talking about the proposed budget, the one from all the departments, yes, it's Todd Culp. So in the county government, if you want a record request, you don't file a FOIA request. That's federal. You file an APRA, Access to Public Record Act. And when you file that, if you want something from the commissioners, if you want something from the sheriff's department, if you want something from the clerk's office, if you want something from the council or the street department, All of those record requests go through Todd Culp. He is the kind of the secretary for the building. That's one of the jobs that the auditor does. You send it to Todd. You don't send it to the attorney. You send it to Todd, because some of those Todd can or should be able to just fill and return. But then if Todd has a question about it, which most of them he does, he sends that on to the attorney then. But Todd is the one. Todd is also the one that's responsible for all of those budgets. So when Megan says, all the ones that all the department heads turn in, what happens is prior to budget time, Todd gives all of the departments sheets of paper and says, okay, it's time for us to deal out the budgets. Here's the money the DLGF is saying that we're getting. Here's what your budget was last year. You need to turn in telling me what you want. They then submit all of that back to Todd. Todd compiles it, figures out the numbers himself, finds out what he's allowed to give out and dole out and do, and then that's compiled, and Todd turns that into the DLGF, and he turns that into the council and the commissioners. And that is public record, requestable. I will file for a itemized filing tomorrow, and we'll let them tell me no, and we'll fight that out, because that they have to give that by law.
Well, and that's the whole thing is this county is known to stall people. I don't know if Nicole was ever to get her records when she asked to see the 6 pages that Rick Gardner had at last month's or 2 weeks ago, when he had all those claims and how he needed money for this and he needed money for that. So I don't know about that. I don't know if Bethany Keller is watching or not. The one thing I wish she would do, and I don't know that she will do this, but I am looking further into this, that federal money that was removed from the budget last year intentionally, the best person to submit that to the federal government would be a fellow councilman that says, I didn't approve this. And the other night when they voted on this, I voted no against this. And this is a big problem because, and here's the thing, she's going to have to go back on Ben Gale and Anthony Emery. She's going to have to go back on Rob Steele and Diana Likens. They're going to have to answer. And the reason why, if Bethany's watching all this, the reason why I'm asking her to do this is they can come after each one of them individually.
Yeah.
And they're not protected because this was a big deal. I mean, I've been reading all the laws on it. So for me, I'd be like, I turned it in, and if you guys don't mess with it, that's fine. All I know is I've submitted the complaint, and I'm washing my hands with it.
Done her part, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think. But I mean, she can do what she feels is best. I am going to file a complaint about it because you cannot remove money you're going to have to pay. And what was so funny watching them last night is they're like, well, now is there enough in there? And do we have a good estimate? Because we don't want to be this far. Okay, listen, the gig is up. There's no amount of passing this around that's going to make me say, oh, it was just this honest mistake. Rob Steele admitted in a point blank that said, they told us not to do it. Todd said, that's right. And we did it anyways. And when Todd Culp, I'll tell you what sealed his fate. When he looked at Bethany with the disrespect he did, and he said to Bethany, I'll take that Class B misdemeanor before I ever take a federal one. I'm thinking, okay, well, then I'm going to help you out, buddy.
I mean, I get his point. If you're,
I do, but he didn't have to be a jerk about it.
You go left or right, and if you go left, you're getting a felony, and you go right, you're getting a misdemeanor. Most people would pick right. I get what he's saying, but he didn't have to be a dick.
But his answer was, you have no choice but to give me the money. Yeah. That's not true. Yeah. I don't know where they get in this mindset that they can just bully and talk to people any way they want. This council, Bethany Keller, they have no idea the amount of power they have. They have an incredible amount of power. That auditor doesn't tell her what
and they all seed it over. They all give
the secretary.
They all seed it to the president, who then seeds it all to the commissioners. That's exactly, they take all their power that we give them that they're supposed to be doing, and they take it all and they give it to their single president, and then he passes it off to the commissioners, and the people are screwed.
And clearly we can all see that Green is way in over his head. He has
no
no
question.
idea. And the reason why I say this is because remember 2 weeks ago, Green's got this great idea. He's just going to shift money. And this is what I cannot express to anybody because I always say they're going to raise taxes again. Okay. Listen, here's the pie. There's only so many ways we can slice the pie. So if you take a little bit out of this slice, you're going to take it from somewhere else. At the end of the day, that means we're going to raise taxes over here. So yes, at this present moment, we're not raising taxes yet. But then come next year, you forgot that we took an extra sliver out of this section and now we've got to raise taxes. And that's my whole point. Yes, I understand what people say. Oh, it's not it is when we get down the road and we forget that. And that's what happens. The same thing at the polls. We get to the polls and we forgot how much dick wine screwed us over.
Yeah.
And then we vote for him. I mean, I've literally been next to somebody and who asked me to be with them at the polls, and they're like, "Okay, I'm going to punch this, and this." So I walk out and I go, "Why did you punch all that?" "Well, those are the names I'm familiar with." I'm like, "Okay, it's just one of those things." So people, you've got to talk to other people. This is one thing that you've really got to do is talk to other people.
Yeah.
So there were lots of problems with that budget last night. I'll give it to Bethany Keller. She sat there and I don't know how she does it, but my head would have exploded with my mouth at some point. Christy did a better job last night than she's done in a long time. So that was a little refreshing. There's still some things that I think need tweaked, but it is what it is. But I'm going to tell you, the other 5 members of that council, they didn't just fail. They imploded. It was a huge, huge disappointment to see what exactly happened. But I do want to draw something for people who've watched me for a long time. I do want to draw attention to one thing. The coroner's budget is, I believe, over 600,000. Now, they were kind of talking 400, 600. There were so many numbers flying around. I don't know. I don't even care. Okay. This is what I want to send to everybody. If you've been following me long enough, you watched me gavelled at the podium until like literally the little pad flips up in the air. I want you to know that my vindication is now here. The coroner's office has new vehicles. The coroner's office now has a budget. We were around 250. It is now between 400,000 and 600,000. And I told them that this budget would be at least 3 times what it is. It's only going to get worse. I'm telling you right now, by not giving these officers these raises, that coroner's office get ready to get a whole lot busier. Trust me, because the streets are going to get more and more covered with drugs. We're going to have more overdoses. We're going to have more problems. You just wait and watch. So I am vindicated. Now we still have a beer cooler morgue. That is the one thing that I've wanted, is at least a morgue for people to be able to visit their deceased loved ones. So all I can say is, I bet they wish they would have given me a morgue now. It's only going to cost them $1 million, and I would have gone away. So that's kind of some things. The health department budget is off the chain. That's another one I want to bring to attention. They went from having like 32 employees in 2023 to 44 employees in 2024. They were doing that health first thing. They got all this money. They had it under control. Well, here's what I want everybody to understand. What I want everybody to understand is Bethany Keller point blank asked Stephanie Mellinger at the podium, what happens when this money goes dry? What are you going to do with those employees? And what was it, 2 or 3 months ago in a meeting? Now we're paying unemployment because she had to lay those people off because we lost that health first money.
Ding, 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 ding.
So I want people to understand,
it's funny. It's almost like you can see it coming.
And you can. And now we've got to make up for Mellinger. Well, here we are again. I want everybody to understand. I was against the RV. I was against the pole barn. That was a couple $1 million that they spent. That RV, you know what? That's an interesting. I wish somebody from the council would say, we would like to see the sign-in sheets. We don't have to see the names. We want to see how many people you're actually serving. Like for cholesterol and all that stuff. And then I don't even care if they make up sheets. So anybody who's watching this from the council, I don't care if they can put a gazillion names on that. Okay. Because they're checking for cholesterol and A1Cs. Then I want you to go back and I want you to look how many tests they're actually ordering. And yes, I'm even telling the health department how we're going to cross-check this. If you don't have the lipids and the A1Cs to match the numbers you give, I'd be real careful at what you're inflating.
Sure.
And of course, any council member who comes to me privately, I'll look at the numbers. And if you think I don't know how to read numbers or that somebody's fudging something, remember, I was a dean of a nursing school for 5 years. The gig is up. So I want to know that the taxpayers are getting their money. I brought it up last night in the meeting. That person who was driving the RV was supposed to be a part-time gig, started with $6,000, started with grant money. Do you know, fast forward 3 years, we're paying this gentleman $44,000
That is absolutely ridiculous.
to drive the RV.
Oh,
And what else does he get to do? He gets to man the Facebook page. So I just want people to understand that while you think I'm dogging the health department, I do believe I am qualified to make a sound assessment on the health department. The other thing I want to bring to attention, and I said this at the podium yesterday, the health board consists of 7 people. And I'll be real interested to see what it says on the DLGF now. And I brought it to the attention last night. On there, it says that they have 7 people at $300. So we were paying the health department, each person $300 who sat on that board. Do you know that in 22, it went up to $600. In 23, it went up to $700. And in 24, we are now paying them $1,000 each. And you mean to tell me you're giving them more money? Has anybody gone through the health department bills? Has anybody actually sat down and ran the numbers of employees and how people are being paid? I mean, people need to look at this. This is not my job. I have a real job. But I put that together in a short order of time. Is anybody thinking when they're looking at these budgets? I mean, these are quick glances. And I'm going to tell you, somebody asked me, they said, how is this even happening? I'm going to tell you why this is happening. If we have 44 employees, Kristopher, and suddenly I have to lay off 15 of them because we've lost this grant money, right? I can take their salaries and I can kind of siphon off some of them. I can stick them onto these people's salaries. And I'm still coming in under budget. You're just glad the number has changed. But did anybody take all 15 employees' salaries, add them all up together, and then subtract that from the total line?
That's a problem. Yeah.
I mean, this is where that attention to detail begins to matter. And I'm not saying, listen, that spreadsheet I did, I want everybody to know that was done in about 3 to 4 hours in between patients. There probably are a few errors on there, okay? But I wasn't doing it to submit something. I tried to be as accurate as I could, but I do have another life to me at times. So I just kind of want people to understand that anybody who wants to look at stuff, I appreciate the help.
Real quick. Again, here we have I want to just clear this up because it's an educational situation. So Megan said, who is currently working in the coroner's office? I sent an APRA request 3 weeks ago to Madison. That's your problem. You don't send it to Madison. You don't send these record requests to the elected official or the department head. You send the record request to Todd Culp.
That is not true. No,
that
wait,
is
time
true.
out. Time out.
That
No,
is absolutely true.
Let me tell you how they do it in Madison County. It's Tom Eckert.
Okay, I don't care anything about Tom Eckert. He's
I
not
know,
the elected auditor.
I'm
So
telling
here's
you,
what I
that's what
do.
they do.
I don't give a shit what they do.
I'm
I
just
send
telling you.
every record request to Todd Culp. Todd
I'm
Culp
telling
then
you.
can walk his dumbass over to whoever he wants to walk it over to and hand it to him, or he can forward the email. You don't ever send a record request to anybody than the auditor. The auditor can then forward that out into the world. That is how you do it.
Okay.
When you file your your complaint to the public access counselor, you file it then against the auditor and the person that they're sending it to. When you what's that guy's name that you just told me?
Tom Eckert. He's the secretary.
He's not an elected official. That's why you don't send it to him.
I know.
I'm telling you, I get what they might say and do, but they're not in charge. You send it to Todd Culp, and you let Todd Culp send it out to where it goes.
And I want to interrupt here. Megan, I did not block you, so do not ever say that again on this show or talk about me like that. I did not block you.
It's getting fishy up in here. That's what I like. No, but listen, I get what you're saying. I get that they say send it off to who is he? He's the secretary.
So Tom Eckert is the secretary to the commissioners. They say that everything comes to him, and then he decides what office what official he's supposed to send it to. That's what they say. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
We used to send it to the auditor, and all that did was delay. And he's like, I'm not your secretary. I'm not. So it's just
he's exactly the secretary. That is his role. He is the secretary. The auditor is the secretary of the commissioners. He is the secretary. That's like me saying, like the mayor says, well, it's not my job to pave roads. Well, you might think that, but it is your job. So I get that they might say you that, but what we got to do is we have to retrain these people to think the right way. So if they say, well, send it, like when they say you have to fill out this extra form, I say, no, I'm not doing that. I'm sending it to you on the form that I have. It has every bit of information there. You can write what you want on it and add what you want to it, but I'm sending it to who it needs to go to, where it needs to go, and you guys can then do whatever you need to do internally. But if you send it to the right people, that's where it goes.
So that's the thing. Now, who's working in the coroner's office? There's been a little bit of a shift in the coroner's office. So the chief deputy was Chris Burris. My understanding is that he's either retired, they've parted ways, whatever it is that has happened there. So Adam, really, I will tell you this. If Meg is telling the truth that Adam hasn't even opened it and Adam hasn't responded in 3 weeks, if I were you, I would be making a post with those screenshots, because this was a big deal when Dr. Abbott was the coroner, and they all made this huge deal, including Adam, that he wasn't responding to emails. He wasn't addressing emails. And so if that is true, she needs to put that up there, because this even made news, Megan, that like death certificates weren't being signed. All that was going on. So if that's true, now my understanding is that Lisa Everett is the new acting chief deputy, is my understanding. So you might want to get with her. If you had a coroner who worked your case, which I believe Chris worked Meg's case, Adam would be the person, but you generally go to the chief deputy in the coroner's office, because the coroner is usually not that hands-on with stuff. You can always call up to the Alexandria Fire Department. He's the fire chief there. That's another way to get a hold of him. But if I were her, I'd be making a stink over that he hasn't opened it.
From the time you send in a record request, if you send in a record request via email, if it's on a business day, they should send you a receipt back, and it can be a generic or it can be something they've actually set down and typed out within 24 hours. And if they haven't sent it back to you within 24 hours, because that happens all the time. Listen, I send out, it ebbs and flows. I might go a month where I don't send out any record request. And then I might have 3 weeks where I send out 7, 8, 9, 10 requests each week. And then I might have a crazy wait time where I've sent out like 20 in a day. It just depends. Now that's been a long time ago, so it's less than that now, but it ebbs and flows.
I have records requests in from December of 20. Where are we at? We're in 25. I have record requests in from probably December of 24 and before, and I've never gotten one of them.
To who?
So I wanted
Tom Eckert,
who then sent them on. Listen to me.
I know.
Who then sent them on to Evan.
Yeah.
Evan is the attorney. Evan said he would get them to me.
Yeah.
I have even sent him messages and he does not respond. And that's the attorney.
And the problem is, and I'm guilty of this too. I'm guilty of this too, because the thing is, we submit a record request and it's something that we really want. And then you submit it in and some time goes on and then something else happens and it's like, ooh, squirrel. And then you're over here and it's like, oh, well, that doesn't really matter. So you don't follow up. I used to be really good with this. I talked to you guys about how I keep like several calendars. I have one calendar. I go and I get it every December. It's a line calendar and I don't put anything else in it. I only use it for record request. And when I send a record request, I always write the date I send it, and I got that there, and then I know to check it. And what I should do, what I used to do back when I had less things to follow and fewer things, it was like if they didn't respond within 24 hours, I sent them a follow-up and I made a phone call. And if they didn't respond then, I pulled a complaint form and I filed a complaint.
Hey,
boom, I'm not screwing with you.
How are those records coming from Alexandria?
The last thing that I sent a complaint into, you mean for the water stuff?
Yeah.
I sent a complaint in to Jennifer Ruby, and they picked it up and they are in the process of filing something with them. So I'm in the process. I have filed on that one.
And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, when like this is your full-time job.
Yeah.
And I have a full-time job.
And it's hard for me. I mean, and it's with
record
requests,
it's a lot. And so
I just don't follow up with them like I should. I used to, but
and depending on what Megan is asking for, there is an Indiana code specific for coroner records.
Sure.
That code is very specific over the time frame and what they must give. So you may want to look at the Indiana code for coroners. It will be clear in there. It will give you what you can get, all the stuff. I would look at that and I would cite that in whatever you're requesting. I don't know what you're requesting. There are some things they must give within a certain amount of time.
And if they're not, it needs, I mean, a big stink needs to be made about that.
It sure does.
If we're talking about 3 weeks, that's past the point of what's okay. That's definitely an issue.
Yeah, that I don't know if I think everything's in NamUs in Madison County. We use that. So but I mean, yeah, she can ask that, but the office is not. I just want to say this before Dr. Abbott and I came into that. Okay, before I came into that office, I'm just going to say myself. There were no records. There were no stats. There was no filing. Like I've got pictures of how they're. I mean, so it's crazy. And so I don't know what kind of records and stats they keep now. But yeah, there was nothing. They're a little bit better now because Dave Sargent is usually on top of them and asking for stuff. So they're a little bit better, but yeah, I don't know that you'll get much of that. But autopsy reports, pictures of the deceased, if they're your relation, there are certain timeframes they have to get that stuff to you. So,
I've got this pulled up right here to where Kate's going to go crazy. I think I've got this pulled up here to where Rick Gardner's crying.
Oh, good.
You want to show this?
Yeah. So. I just want people to know public comment had already come. He got up there. He wanted $1 million. Remind you, 2 weeks ago, you taxpayers on here from Madison County, we just gave him $447,000 2 weeks ago. They asked him I think was it Bethany? I don't know if it was Bethany or if it was Christy. One of the two said, now, you won't be back for more money. This is going to be enough money to get you through. Yes.
Through to what? What did he want it for?
Huh?
Tell them what he wanted it for.
Well, this was just new money request for things. But so they said yes. So now the next thing is they were going to advertise for a meeting, right? They did it in 10 days. And over in this little obscure place, when they advertised for that new meeting on a Saturday morning, commissioners are asking for capital improvements, $1 million from the general fund. Well, he just happened to catch it. So
Rick Gardner is commissioner. Is he from the Middle District?
He is District 2.
Okay.
So now, generally, when we're in these meetings, Rick Gardner has no idea what's happened to the money, even though he was the auditor the last 8 or 9 years.
He was the auditor for the last 8 years.
Because I think he might have caucused in, because I looked on there and it looked like he might have come in like maybe 6 months early. You know how they do it so that you can be sure you get your slot. Now you're the incumbent. But I don't know if it was 8 or 9. So I definitely was 8. So he, but it might have been a little longer. So he knows where all the money is. He knows exactly how they can give money, right? So he comes in here, he waltzes in here, he needs $1 million for capital improvements. Now, this is what I clearly don't understand if you were watching yesterday. They ask him, how much money do you need in the projects you have left? He continues to say, well, I only got $31,000 in painting in the Brandenburg, just $31,000. And when we came in under budget for the roof, okay, well, they gave him $500,000 to redo that Brandenburg house. So you mean to tell me that he's put all that to remodel this Brandenburg place? Holy cow. He has nothing left over. So then we got we call it, some people call it the Rick Gardner Rolex. So he's got the bell tower clock that nobody's ever been able to get working. They brought it over from the old courthouse. And so he goes on and he just starts talking about how important it is that he has the money for the bell tower clock. And he talks about how important it is for people to know where they've come from, especially orphans, because that's what this Brandenburg place was. And people just have to know where they come from. Well, if that's true, orphans need to know who their parents are. I mean, I don't know that the orphanage, I don't know. I've never been adopted, so I don't want to insult anybody. But it is the way it is. So anyways, he continues to say how many people have come to him and told him that they're so thankful he's fixing this clock on the county building. It's $50,000. But what gets me is no one on this council has asked to see his receipts. I'm waiting for the day that Bethany Keller looks at him, because she's about the only one with enough balls, and says, give me those sheets of paper you're reading from. I'm waiting for that day.
Yeah.
Because I wish somebody would request these records of what he's reading through.
That would be interesting to see what's going on there.
From this meeting and the last meeting. And I bet you that the receipts do not even come close to what they're doing. The other thing I'd like to know, Rick has a lot of family members who do repairs and he's got his own side.
Do we know who's doing the work on the clock or doing the work?
That's what I'd like to see.
I
want to see the 3 requests of the bids. I want to see all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole thing needs an audit, because their money they're asking for is crazy.
Well, the other thing is, the clock has still not been fixed.
Well, he's had to order the parts. And then the guy who fixes it, well, he's usually not around. Okay, well,
that sounds like a problem.
Breaks again? I'm going to tell you something. I want you to know that I'm seeing a lot of people with shoulder and neck issues. And any of you people watching, I don't know if you have shoulder and neck issues. And you know why I'm seeing so many people with shoulder and neck issues? Okay. It's not because they're going like this. It's because they're going like this. I'm telling you right now, ain't nobody looking at that clock up there. Was it you who told
I
me what
would
time to
just
set it
say,
on?
yeah, I would just set the clock to 11:11 and move the hell on. Set the clock to 11 minutes past 11 o'clock and rock and roll on about your life. Save $500,000 and have a nice day. Everybody would love it.
And so
Matter
then,
of fact, you could even get up there. You could, you know what? They could buy a little bucket truck just for this purpose, and it would be cheaper than what they're doing. That periodically they could get up and do random shit. You could get up and you could do like a 2:30,
listen,
or you could do 4:20. I mean, whatever. Just get up and do it.
well, the next time he comes in and tells them the clock's broken and they got to fix it, I wonder if like Bethany could have an out of body experience and say, enough. Like this is her child. Like I am not spending any more money.
Yeah,
on this.
yeah. Damn it, man! Like seriously, for the love of God, put it to 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and have a day with it. Be done.
Right.
Yeah, man. This clock thing is out of control.
So I think he thought that too many valid points were made by the public speakers and that perhaps he would get no money. Now, I also want to bring up
Right,
that
6 puppies.
the Star Bank, it has tenants in it. And
Oh,
these
this
tenants
damn
pay
all
the
this
count, pay the
stupid
county.
shit. What?
Okay.
There's tenants in the Star Bank. What are we talking about?
Yeah. So the coroner's office is over there. Veteran Affairs is over there.
Oh,
So
county office. I get what you're saying.
but there's
Okay.
Star Banks in there and then something else, right? Well, they've got like 95 parking spots and they need these parking lots, but they only have like 75 that's usable. Well, now we're up to like, I don't know, all the repairs was like, it was craziness, like a 1.8 million or some crazy stuff. And so when I start adding all this up, because that's about how much new money he's got, I'm like, that's like $24,000 a spot for parking. Are these guys paying for parking permits? And that's more expensive than what is in Chicago. So I guess one of the ramps that you can get, I've never been over here. So this is what I would have done if I was on this council. So if I was on this council and this is what I knew they were coming from, I would have gone over to the Star Bank in the middle of the day to see how many cars are exactly parked over there. Now, if I only see 20 cars over there, I probably would lose my crap that you're asking me for $500,000, right? I mean, this is going to be a big problem. So now he's like, well, if we don't fix this by December, we're going to have to close that complete thing, the whole parking lot off. It's got all these problems. Well, they've already had some block fall on somebody's car. I want to know how long ago did that accident even happen? That's another good records request because Diana's like, well, this lady, she's emailing me and she wants to know when we're going to take care of this this block that fell on her car. Well, how old is that? Because if you tell me that that thing is like 10 months old, that means you've known that this had to be fixed 10 months ago. That means here we are again. We're going to back this council into a corner and say, oh, we have to give them this money because it's an emergency now, because if they don't fix it, then we're going to have to shut this down. Now, Rick says that they have an obligation to give them parking space, these people. So they have to have this. Right? No, that's exactly right. And so if Kerry can go up there and get some shots of this would be great. Like if he could go like at 9 o'clock in the morning and then come back and do it like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I would be really interested to see how many cars are actually sitting in that lot, because what he's telling me, this is like, it doesn't even make sense what we're putting money into this thing for. So my thing was,
I'm just glad that you finally told me Star Banks and Star Bank. It's kind of like the old joke, who's buried in Grant's tomb?
Well, and I hope Kerry,
Bank's there.
Yeah, I hope Kerry will walk into the bank to just see how many tellers are even in there working. Like if he's like goes in there and there's like 2 tellers in there and a bank manager, oh, what? I mean, this is the whole thing is this council needs to get a lot more involved. It is sad that they have to go babysit these people like this. But the reality is, I'm telling you right now, like my job in a room is to be a human lie detector. And I'm telling you, these people are like giving you stories like it's unbelievable. And then when the tears come, I'm like, this guy's mental. I mean, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Right?
All right, let's play this and hear what's
Okay.
going on with this idiot.
Try to get at a number here.
Yeah. Well, no, the painting's actually a little bit more than that. It's $35,750 because of what we done. We are doing the paint. We came in under budget on the roof out there. Our total budget for the roof, gutters, painting, aluminum work, plaster work in the basement. The budget we had back in February was $73,300, and we spent $67,000. So we were $6,000 under budget on that part. But you still have the 50% of the clock tower, and the painting's not been paid for yet. So about
There's a 31 of the painting, and there's how much?
about I think it's 18. So it's close to 50. That's not been paid yet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. About 50.
Close.
Right. So when the 50,000 or so is paid out of that, there will be about 320,000.
Right. Yeah.
So
I originally had that they needed 489,500 more, but then if you added 50,000, then that gets 539,500. Check my math.
Yeah, you need the 859,000, the painting of 31,000, the 18,000 on the clock tower. Minus your balance.
So we're right at, are you getting about 540?
Yeah.
So 540,000 in addition to what's there should cover the urgent expenses.
The urgent expenses, yes. Now, we will be running new water lines to that chapel. I kind of venture to say that doesn't get done this year. We're looking into it and getting prices on it, but I would say we're not going to get there.
Other questions or comments?
I make a motion, we approve in the amount of $540,000.
Motion, Councilor Keller, is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilor Colt, is there other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Is there a public comment? What's about public comment?
Oh, that wasn't you. That was you on TV.
Yeah, actually, Ms. Carter, we're going to take it off. Sure.
Wait, he's not crying?
Okay,
Sheriff, please feel free.
put that on hold.
What?
Put it on hold. Now, fast forward through public comment, and then that's what, because he's so upset with everybody's comments because nobody wants this. You can go right through that and wait till he comes
Everyone
right
gets
back up.
up and is dogging it.
Yeah. Now this is where
Officer standing back here at the back.
go back with Rock
Hello?
Gardner.
I know we're going forward.
So our public safety. I understand there's problems with this building.
Okay.
The major stuff we're hoping
It's going to pass.
That's the reason this is so urgent. If it weren't such an
This
urgent
didn't happen
matter, it would be
overnight.
spring, it wouldn't be that big a deal, but it didn't.
But it didn't happen overnight.
Structure. It's in the total report, but I can get that for you. I don't have that with me. 15 years. But to answer a couple of those questions, to level the building, I just spitballed it with the engineer, and to answer the question, yes, this report is from an engineer, and this is suggestions of the engineer. So yes, we went over there, assessed, and said, hey, we got to do something about this. We got engineers on site looking at it. This is an engineer's report. We went to a structural engineer, and then ended up going with Structure Care for the repairs. To level that building's about $1.5 million. To build a new parking garage with 91 spaces, it's $3.6 million. So you're paying $1.5 million to keep your 91 spots. I'm sorry, to keep your 91 spots, you're spending that $859,000 for a $3.6 million building. The parking, I heard a question about the parking spaces and could you give Starbank building spaces elsewhere? That answer is absolutely not, because just the county employees alone, there's not enough parking places to house all the county employees that work in this building. So there's some sitting on the street anyway, which is bad because you have businesses whose parking places are taken up in downtown Anderson. If you have a business there, you want somebody to be able to come and park. So engineer, yes, to level that $1.5 million. I understand the thought about the clock tower, but I would disagree with that because that clock, if I remember right, the date on that clock is 1887, I think. Sometimes you need a little bit of pride in your community, and that's something that came from the old courthouse. $38,000 expense. Had multiple people come and say, we're so glad you're getting that bell ringing again, and the clock to just work properly. Electronics have to be replaced over time, and it's got to happen. The Scholar House, I hear a lot of comments about, you're not even using that building. Yes, we are using that building. Currently, we're not using that building. We're prepping it to use that building. Job Source is moving over to the building that used to be day reporting, and they will be using the chapel for Scholar House programs, which are women with children that are going to college, and they will have programs there and use that chapel for that. Try to get people on the right path, homeless, beaten, those type of ladies that are
a commissioner, Rick Gardner,
them get a step forward in life, that have young children, and that facility will be used for that. And that is totally in the spirit of why that place was built to begin with. That orphanage was there, and it was there to take care of kids in back in another time, and that still plays in the spirit of why that existed to begin with. I got a report from someone not too long ago about a lady. We were trying to reach out actually and find people that might have spent time there when they were younger, when it was the Bronnenberg home, and spent time in the chapel. And I'll try to do this without holding my composure. There was a lady called the newspaper and said, had mentioned the story that was written in the newspaper about the chapel. And when we reopen that, she wants to come to the grand opening, excuse me, of that chapel. And she spent time there in 1955 and 56 and was adopted in 1957. And the newspaper asked her the question, can I ask why you ended up there? And her story was she lives in Greenfield, takes the Anderson newspaper. That's how she found out about it. So she lived there in 55, 56, was adopted in 1957, and her reason for being there was her father was killed in an accident, and there was 8 siblings in that family. So she ends up there, and she lived there for those 2 years and was adopted. And the question was asked of her, did you ever have the chance to go to that chapel? And she said she went, sorry. She said she went one Christmas, and the Salvation Army was there giving out gifts. And that was the first gift in her life she'd ever gotten. there's some history here, and I don't think it needs to be taken so lightly. It's very important. History is important to know where you came from, where you're heading. It's a very important thing. Sorry for my composure.
Give me a break.
We have, we're not taking.
That is so weird.
So they wouldn't let anybody rebuttal that. They were told to sit down.
The establishment lets to do that.
And that's the same thing that happened to me last, what was it, September or August, when I was walked out because I was rebuttaling what the commissioners were saying, because I'm going to call crap on this. I'm not sure why Bethany even put up the fact, hey, we're going to go ahead and move this money. Because if you were sitting there doing the math, none of it added up. So, I mean, that's
Doesn't
the whole
need
thing.
to.
Well, they've never had to add up.
Yeah.
So
right.
when Rob asked him a question about some numbers, he doesn't have that. Right. He has no idea what that's going to be, but he could look it up and he could do it. But you know what he does have? He can tell you that it's going to cost $1 million to do this with to demolish the parking garage, right? And it'll be 350 or 3.5 million to erect another one. Oh,
Yeah.
so you've got all those numbers, but the actual project that you're in, you don't know what the painting numbers are. And this is my problem with the board. The board doesn't seem to back up and say, clearly it looks like you're not prepared to present tonight.
Same thing with City of Muncie. We
Right?
were just talking about that last night.
I'm not sure where everybody went to school, but let me just tell you, I went to school with some of the toughest instructors. If you walked in there and you weren't prepared and you didn't prep your patient the night before, guess what happened to you? You got to go home. And then you get to pick up like 3 patients the next day just to make sure you're always ready. And this is my problem. My problem is, at what point do you realize they're lying to you and they're conning you out of money because they always are not prepared? They don't have receipts. He's got all that paper right there in front of him. Show us what's on there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't know anything about any patients or not, but I know that it's just math. It's like base, not even like crazy math, like a whole bunch of crazy decimals or division or anything.
Right?
It's like plus and minus.
I got to keep track that I got the clock that I've been messing around with. They gave me this money how long ago? He's been working on that clock for 5 years. The whole time I've been in that thing, he's always been working on this clock. Okay.
Yeah.
So the clock originally was 50,000. Now it's at where we got to give 18. I don't know. It doesn't equal 50,000. So there should be money left over from that. Then he tells you about the roof for 70,000. And then he tells you about the paint job. Now we're at 100,000. You guys gave him 500,000.
Yeah.
So where's the math coming? Why anybody approved this? My other problem is that these tenants are paying in. They're paying rent, correct? They have like $200,000 or $300,000 in that. So why didn't they make him burn that?
Yeah.
Go ahead and only give him the 200,000 or whatever the difference was. Make them live within their means. And I said this at the podium, but nobody up there has the balls enough to do that.
Yeah.
Nobody is willing to push back. And then we come in with the kill with, I'm emotional about this.
Yeah.
What are you emotional about, Rick? The clock? If you're that emotional, why didn't you tie yourself to the courthouse when they were demolishing it?
Yeah, right.
I mean, if you're this emotional about stuff like this, then maybe you shouldn't be over the project because you might overspend. I mean, that's the reality. And here's my deal. I get that it's important for her to know where, but when they originally put this together, there's an article. That article says when they got this money, they have no idea what they're actually going to use this thing for. And here's the other thing I want to tell you, and this makes me angry, and I didn't pick it up until just now when I rewatched that. So they're going to put men and women out there or children or whatever, and they have no water lines. Did you not hear him? How much is that going to cost us?
Yeah, right.
I mean, this is absolutely insane. And then you tell me that you can't raise my officers. Well, I'm going to tell you what. Tell me what happens. This house is out in a remote area. Who's going to guard that? Who's going to round on that? Who's going to sit over there at night? Who's going to go over there when there's a problem? When we don't have any officers? You guys just burnt through over $1.5 million in new money requests, and you cut the budget last year of the commissioners by $1.1 million. And this is my problem. They always give back more than they even come for. So you think these elected officials care, or these directors care? Who cares? So last night, towards the end, it was the greatest epic moment I've ever seen.
Well, real quick, how's he going to fund the? People are going to live there in the chapel?
No, they're just going to come over there and use it like as an office.
What are they going to do if they use the bathroom? Who's going to fund this?
This is what I mean. This council. Now, this one, I got to give it to all 7 of them, because this council is off the chain with this one. This is out of control. And then I have to listen to the council say, well, where are we going to get the money to fund our sheriffs? Where are you getting the money to fund this stupid project? And I am going to call it stupid.
Yeah.
Because it makes no sense. You know, and again, here we are. We've got to give more money to the health department because they've lost all this funding. Well, guess what? Knuckleheads. The fact that you had tenants in the health department, you had veteran affairs in the health department, you had the coroner's office in the health department. You built her a new pole barn. You got her another office up in Elwood, and then you got the RV. Now you guys are paying for 4 things to maintain instead of before we just had a health department. And has our numbers changed? Are we growing in healthcare? Are we getting more healthy in Madison County? Are you seeing more people have access? No, we're not seeing any of that. So please tell me why you believe you have to fund something that your leader of the health department had no vision for. None. So how much are we paying for Elwood? How much are we paying to maintain the RV that was bought on grant money? How much are we paying in utilities and insurance and all that other good stuff and mortgage on, well, maybe not the mortgage, but all that on the pole barn we've got? Please tell me where all this money that you, and then we got all the utilities there in the health department. I mean, the health department bought a $3,000 pill counter. For what? They don't do that many pills. They don't even see that many patients that they should have a pill counter. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen you guys spend money on. Yeah, bring me the receipts to the health department. Let me go through those. Let me help you people understand how this works. And so this is my whole problem with this whole nightmare is nobody asks anybody for receipts, but we will gladly expend the money. Well, it's a grant. Have at it. Well, you know what? Maybe if you manage those grants a little better, you'd use less taxpayer money that you could put elsewhere, like maybe paying our officers.
Yeah.
You know, when these, you know, outreach people go out and they get into trouble, who are they going to call? Don't call a sheriff, because we don't even have enough. That's the other thing I want people to understand. If you listen to that, it was the most asinine thing. I mean, that's the thing. Everybody's got that. Delaware County's got the same issue that Dave's bringing up. The Indiana Department of Corrections owes you guys money. They owe us $472,000. That will cover the deputies' raises. If they can cover, and you know what was so interesting last night is that, does everybody know why the county has so many financial problems? Is anybody aware of that? The reason why the county has so many financial problems is because they have to fund dispatch. You know why they have to fund dispatch? They have to fund dispatch because Alexandria and Elwood completed their commitment to the county. They found other ways to fund the dispatch center after 10 years. They bought into raising the lit tax when the council voted that they did not need the money. Now, that's the key right there, people. If the council would have voted, yes, we need that income tax raised because we need that extra money too, then I could understand why they could hold Elwood and Alexandria accountable and make them pay into this, right? but they didn't. They voted against it, even though it was the county's idea in the beginning. And that's what their intent was. Intent was is to make all the municipalities act like they did it, because why? We were getting ready to go to an election. They didn't want
Sure.
Diana Likens to lose. So they had enough of the votes. So what did they do? They did the smart thing. They said no. That brought in an extra $3.1 or $3.2 million to the county. These two towns are paying $180,000. And let me be clear, in that same time frame, all this comes in, after it starts coming in, the town of LaPel goes to them and says, we need $150,000 or we're going to lose our fire territory. And that's the whole premise behind that lit money that was supposed to go to. The council says, sorry, we're not going to help you. What happens to LaPel after that? They crash and burn. Now they have to join South Madison because they don't have the finances to sustain, because the council has never divided the money up correctly. What did they do? What did the council do? This is why they needed an audit. The council gave that money to the prosecutor's office. And what happened? Sean Smith came out once that happened. And after all that money was dispersed, and he said, I don't think you can do that with those portions of the money. It cannot go to the prosecutor's office. Well, they never gave it back. And it should have gone to public safety. It should have gone to the sheriffs. It should have gone. So this is why it's such a mess. And while Bethany's been on the council, she wasn't running the show. Ben Gale and Anthony Emery, Rob Steele and Diana Likens were running the show.
Yeah.
That is exactly who needs. I mean, they wanted to put a muzzle on Bethany Keller. There's a reason why baby sits in the corner.
Yeah.
Nobody sits baby in the corner. Oh, that's why Bethany Keller is all the way down there. Because they don't want her mouth to be sit front and center. It'd make them look too bad.
Yeah.
And so this is why all this money is changing hands. And I don't have enough time to look into all this. There's people watching. Have at it. Go after and look. Go back a couple of years. File with the State Board of Accounts. Do all the stuff that you need to do. But I'm telling you, we got big problems in this county, and it has nothing to do with raising these deputies at all. It has to do with the fact that we've got a council that the majority of them cannot say no to the commissioners. And that, or to the health department. That's what becomes the problem. I wouldn't have any problem giving money to the health department. I'm in health. I get it. But I'm not going to give money to a health department that doesn't show me anything in return. That is going to be my biggest problem. You have to show me numbers. You have to show me evidence-based medicine. You have to show me that this county is moving forward. And from what I see Nicole on here. I see Bree on here. I see Lisa on here. I see Miss Cruz on here. All I keep seeing is how people are getting sicker from the water, and the health department's nowhere to be found. These are my issues. I want to see something in return for my money. And I'm not seeing it. This county looks like a third world country.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous. And so that's kind of, and here's the thing. If everybody wants to know why the coroner's office is at a $640,000 budget now, I'll tell you why. And God is my witness. I will tell you why. Because Andrew Hanna and I had a very lengthy discussion when I left the coroner's office. And I told Andrew Hanna, I said, listen to me and listen to me carefully. Every overdose must have an autopsy, or you will never be able to pin a murder. The person selling the drugs can come back and say, how do you know they didn't have heart disease? How do you know they didn't die of a heart attack? How do you know they didn't die of kidney failure? Yeah. Could those drugs have caused all that? Yes. But you have to prove without a doubt that this person deliberately died of an overdose, that the kidneys were fine, the heart was fine, the stomach was fine, the colon was fine, the brain was fine. There was no cancers. There was nothing in there that caused this guy to die other than he overdosed. That's why you have to do the autopsies. Look and see how many autopsies we're having now because we're having so many overdoses. Why is that? Well, our outreach program, they're not doing their thing. They're not getting the job done. You know, these are the things. You go and ask the health department for extra Narcan. Well, they can't give more than this out, and they can only give this out, and then they have to worry about this. Well, before, Stephanie was always sending it to the sheriffs and not giving it to the community, which, yes, the sheriffs have to have a certain amount, but there's other grants for that. And so I am just sick of everything's urgent. So in a nutshell, at the end of the meeting, they decide, let's do this budget. We're going to take out of the rainy day fund, or we're going to take out of the general fund. It's going to be $1 million or $2 million over budget, but we're going to do it. I don't know. They got the numbers down to something. Maybe it was like 400,000 or 500,000. I don't know. So they get the numbers down to a certain amount. They're going to take that extra. They're going to take it out of the general fund, the rainy day fund, whatever they're going to do. Okay. So they get it all to where they think they want to get it. But here's the caveat. No one can come in and ask for any new money requests until September. Well, then it looks like the council doesn't need to meet. Now, let me be crystal clear. Then there was a but. Okay. And I hope everybody was listening to Rick Gardner. And I hope you were listening to the council. You can come in and you can ask for new money requests if it's an emergency. When is it never urgent? This is the most this is the most reactive county I've ever seen in my life. Everything is urgent. Every building is on fire. Every crisis is going to end the world tomorrow.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, who decides what's
ridiculous.
urgent? Let me decide what's urgent. I'll tell you right now, there'll be some people, you don't want me on the council. And that's exactly why they didn't want me as auditor.
That's what's needed on the council. That's what Ryan Webb was over here.
Yeah. I tell you right now, and here's the thing, you can still pass with the majority of the votes, but I'm telling you what, I'm going to say my piece. You're going to show me some receipts.
Yeah.
I got news for you. I mean, that clock math doesn't add up. The Brandenburg doesn't add up. We got big problems. So, you know, and that's the thing. The health department needs $35,000 for office supplies. And that's what I would push for. If I was a Bethany Keller and she is up for reelection, I do believe, and I did make an error on my post last night because my hands were typing. I said 4 of these seats need to change. I do retract that. 3 of those seats need to change. I'm fine with Bethany. Okay. Yes. Sometimes, I mean, just like last night, I don't know why she voted to move that forward, but she had her reasons. Do I agree with her? No, but I don't think she's worth throwing the baby out with the bathwater for that.
Well,
you know,
she needs to answer for some of her nonsense.
Sometimes, sometimes, you know, she
needs to answer for it.
Yeah. But I mean, I will tell you,
it's still better to have her than not have her.
Yeah, I agree. And here's the thing. I mean, there was a time a couple of years ago. I absolutely did not agree with Bethany Keller. She actually voted in favor of Russ Willis getting a raise. Now, she was fairly new at the time. I was totally against Russ getting the raise. He was making 30-some thousand. This put him up to 50,000. And I'm going to explain to you why that is, Bethany. And at that time, I didn't know Bethany enough. I didn't talk to Bethany. If she's watching, the reason why is because Madison County, the county, did not bring in all these extra gas stations. The city of Anderson did. That's who brought it in. His raise should have come from the city of Alexandria, and they should be paying that $20,000 difference, and they should be paying that $20,000 difference for the rest of eternity for weights and measures. And every time they bring on another gas station in the city of Anderson, guess what? Their bill for weights and measures is going to go up another $5,000. But now what's happening, Kristopher? What's happening next week in the city of Anderson, everybody? It just happened. It happened yesterday. They are stopping any more gas stations from being built because they've got too many of them.
Yeah.
Maybe if the county would have made such a beef with this 2 or 3 years ago, when Russ was up there saying, you know, we've got all these, maybe it would have put a halt a long time ago. Now we got smoke stations and I mean, it's just unbelievable. But that's the reason, if they put this budget online for all to see, which I don't understand why they don't, Bethany does a great job generally of doing that. I don't think I think if she had the budget, she'd probably post it because that's generally the way she does business. She's a very transparent person. If you call her, even if you don't like her answer, you're going to get an answer. Let's just be clear, whether you like it or not. And I think that's fair. I respect that. It's fair. You don't have to always agree. But maybe if they put this budget up for everybody to see, people would begin to point out where we have wasteful spending.
Yeah.
And we would start to begin to feel like a community, and we would begin to build trust with our elected officials. The only thing this does is build barriers. And so, yes, most of the pumps are outdated. Absolutely, they are. Russ doesn't do his job. We all know that. And so it's just kind of interesting to watch all of this, to see all of this. There's a lot to that meeting. I really encourage people, if you go to the end and you're watching the sheriff stuff, that's another, you ought to have seen what they were taking away from the sheriffs. I have no idea. I don't know when they're budgeted to open the new jail, but I got news for you people. Understand this. There is a big fight between the old jail, where it's sitting, the city of Anderson, and the county commissioners. Imagine that.
Sure. Yeah.
This fight is what will become of that eyesore of a building. Now, the commissioners wanted it there. That's where it's at. But it's prime real estate, right? And the building is too far gone, from what I understand, to kind of rehab or do anything with. So now this is the deal. If the city of Anderson wants that, they can have it. But they have to pay for the demolition of that building. The commissioners, if the city of Anderson won't do that, are going to keep it. It'll be an eyesore. They're going to put that park up right there in that field. And because they know it costs too much money to, do a demolition with it. Yeah. What happens if they leave it there? We've got so many homeless people. You're going to get squatters all up in there. So this is going to be a fight within itself about the jail that's left there. Please understand, we have now moved the jail further out. We've made a bigger jail. So now we've got more staffing. If they can't raise our sheriffs now, how are we? Oh, and that's the other thing. We're going to go on a hiring freeze. How are you going to staff that jail? Because you're going to need additional employees. And I don't know about Chris, about you, but this isn't like, come in, fill out your application, we can hire you and put you right on the street. These officers have to ride with people. They have to spend so much time with them before they're even allowed to go on their own. And then, so this is going to be this hiring freeze that's going on, that needs to be put on departments, like the clerk's office, like the health department, places like that.
What's going to happen at the old jail?
What's going to happen? Well, that's the fight. That's the exact fight. So the city of Anderson doesn't want to do it. They don't want it there because they want it torn down because they're putting in that big park right there. And it's riverfront property. The commissioners are like, well, we're not going to demolish it.
1 second.
If you don't want the jail there, then they'll have to demolish it and they'll give them the land. Well, the land's not worth as much as it's going to cost to demolish the thing. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that jail. Who knows? Make it high-end rental. But somebody said the building's not able to be rehabbed. I don't know. I'm not in construction, so I can't say one way or the other. But wouldn't it be cool to refurbish that into rentals and then they keep their doors the same way as what they are on each cell? I think it's great. So anyways, I don't know. It's something to think about what they're going to do. Right across the jail is the offices of all the city government officials. So I don't know what they'll end up doing there. So there is money. I want people to understand, if you go to the DLGF, I posted some of the numbers. We started out 2024 with $99 million in the bank, and we ended with like 107 something. So we transferred $7.9 million. So we made a profit. The government made a profit of almost $8 million off the taxpayers. That is not how taxes should be done. And they're still talking about raising them. Well, that's a problem within itself too, right? So the reason why they need those accounts to be so high is because they have to have bonds, because they've realized the jail that they've built is already at max capacity. So now they need to start thinking about how they're going to build out the other half. So they're going to have more bonds. So this is another big problem. Again, I don't understand why we don't have money, because the dispatch center was built 9 years ago, was supposed to be paid off by 2026. So I think the average payment of that was like $300,000 for the year. Well, they only need $400,000 for the sheriffs. So explain to me why because Rick Gardner said they'd already paid that building off. So where's that extra money been going? What's been happening to the extra money, that extra $300,000 a year, if they did pay off those buildings? And again, you'd have to have a county council person look in to find out if it's been paid off. And if it hasn't, I'm real interested in that, because I'm pretty sure a couple of years ago, they said they were paying those off because that's why they were banking more stuff and they used. So I'd be real interested in that answer. So if you're saving $300,000, either give it to our sheriffs and do their raises, or knock it off with Elwood and Alexandria, because that's more than what they're paying. Again, go look at what I posted today. I don't know if you can bring that up, Kristopher, my post, and it's pinned to the top of my page. And on there, I put a small snapshot of disbursements and how much money we have. And it's got the beginning. The public safety money is an interesting, I got it highlighted on there. It's very interesting on that one. This is why I can't believe. Which one is it? Hold on a second.
This.
Yes. So can you open the picture? No. Is it that one? Yeah. See if it's got the. That's the State Department. This page right there. That one right there. If you can. Okay. Yeah. So what's the first column?
Local fund number.
Okay. And then
local fund name.
Uh-huh.
January 1st, 2024.
Now this is the disbursement. This is the disbursement statement.
Disbursements, yeah. End cash. Beginning cash, end cash.
So in public safety, how much should we begin with?
Looks like 1.3 million, almost 1.4.
And how much should we end with?
$2.5.
So we had a profit, did we not?
Rainy
so we
day
had a
went
profit of 1.2 million, correct? For the public safety money?
Basically, yeah.
And you mean to tell me we don't have $400,000 to do raises? I don't care how you swing this. You can argue it to me till you're blue in the face. You have money to do raises. I mean, there's no question to that. I mean, that in itself shows you. And then the rainy day fund was 11 million and some change, and it ended with 17.2 million. And you have no money.
I don't
This money is
I don't
going
know what
somewhere.
they're doing. It's so weird. It's so weird what they've got going on.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. There is a problem here, and it's a very big one. The fact
Yeah.
that this has even taken these many man hours and the amount of time it's asked sheriffs to come to these meetings and the way they have made them stay there for hours on end. If you have that many sheriffs in there, you should be doing their stuff first. You know who you should be making wait? You should be making Rick Gardner wait for his $500,000. He should be the one that goes at the end of the night, not your officers. The amount of disrespect that continues to be displayed to our public safety servants is absolutely ridiculous.
Look, I'm a former police officer. I don't give a shit where they go in the night. I don't really care about that. That's someone's got to be the first, someone's got to be the end.
Yeah, well,
At
you
the
know
end
what?
of the
Commissioner
day.
Gardner can be the end because he's the only
Yeah.
one that wants to listen to himself.
Sure, right. But it's just strange. I mean, there is an issue with what's going on. The way that they're doing them is crazy. I don't get it. I truly don't understand what they're doing.
And I want everybody to understand, I'm going to put up these budget numbers, and I'm going to go back all the way to like 2020, 2019. Do you know that the beginning balance that time was like 44 million? Now, granted, we've got a lot of grants that have come in through time, but that had nothing to do with your auditor. That had nothing to do with your treasurer.
Oh,
I mean, they're always gloating like, oh, we saved all this money. We made all this interest. Let me give you an idea of what has happened. They've put it into funds instead of giving it back to the people, because that's what it was supposed to be there to give us breaks through COVID.
Yep.
They gathered interest money on it to make our numbers look bigger. Why? Because their incompetence of getting that jail off the ground. The jail was supposed to be $40 million, but they drug their feet so long. We went through COVID. All the expenses went through the roof. That's why it's so crazy expensive.
Yeah.
In doing all of that, they've made their numbers look great. We got $24.9 million in ARPA funds. I would hope it would go up. You haven't spent it for 3 years. I mean, the stuff that some of you people actually buy that comes out of these mouths, I'm like, I should have been in real estate. I could have sold some great, no-brainers that would have made a mint off of. This is unbelievable. I mean, like Dave Sargent says, we're at the end of the life for radios. They're going to have to come up with that money. And here's the thing. How much money is sitting in the dispatch 911 center?
But we're in
It's
England
got
for a minute.
500,000 or 700,000. Why aren't you using that? It can only be used at dispatch. Well, great. Instead of having Elwood and Alexandria, use that money. I'm telling you right now, those people up in Elwood, those people in Alexandria, they're paying a 911 fee on their phone bill. All of us are.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a problem with these counties paying for the dispatch center, because you're telling me now they're getting taxed from their own town. And on top of it, then they're paying county taxes.
The county's paying for them. You don't want the counties to pay for? Who do you want to pay for dispatch?
The municipalities.
So you want this? I
want
thought
the county.
The other day you were saying
you pay for it.
Just the county. You don't want the city of Anderson to pay. You don't
the city
want
of Anderson.
Elwood
They've
to
got
pay.
plenty of money, so I don't care if they do. But these smaller towns that are in bad shape. And here's the thing: they fulfilled their contract.
I don't think there is a problem with dividing it up by call volume at 100%. It would be a very small nominal fee if they did that. That's common sense.
Yes,
I don't understand why that would be a problem.
They've taken it from $90,000 a year. Now they want them to pay like $170,000 a year.
I don't know who exactly we're talking about, but
Elwood and
I'm just saying.
Alexandria.
I'm just saying. Imagine. So imagine, if you will, for a second. Like, let's just talk about Delaware County. So you've got Delaware County Sheriff's Department, you have City of Muncie, you have Gaston, Eaton, Albany, Daleville, Yorktown, Selma. That's 8. And then you've got Ball State Police Department. That's 9. Not counting state police. We're not counting state police, but counting county, city, and small town. We've got 9 police agencies inside Delaware County. Ball State does their own dispatch, so that's 8. So I would say you take all of the dispatch calls in a year and you put them up on a board, all the number. Let's just say there's 100,000. Just make it very short, very easy. It's more than that. So there's 100,000. And then you take each one of the areas and you put it down there, and then you divide that up. You say, oh, the city of Muncie, they took, this many calls. All right, that's their percentage. Delaware County gets this percentage. And then you divide it up. And then you divide up the total by those percentages, and that's what it is. That is a very fair and simple way to do it.
Now,
And it
I
would
don't
break down to where it
disagree
wouldn't
with
be
you.
much.
I don't disagree with you, but at this point, I'm so sick of the commissioners and their abuse. They need to learn to live within their means.
Yeah,
I
agree with
feel
that.
like reading the contract, I feel that by them increasing the public safety lit tax, that they have fulfilled their agreement. The thing is we're not going to have less people paying a 911. Everybody's getting cell phones, right?
Mhm.
Use some of that 911 money. They hardly ever use that 911 money. And what's happening, let me tell you what's happening here. While I understand where Chris is coming from, and I'm not disagreeing with that, we have so many pots of money in Madison County that our own council can't keep it straight. And what happens when money gets so big? It starts to get siphoned off. And nobody knows where anything is going. And that's what my problem is. These people, the council is telling people, we're not giving out raises every year. No one's getting a raise. I mean, the sheriffs haven't gotten raises for a couple of years. But look at all the departments I looked at. I did a random sample. And almost every employee in those departments got raises. And who didn't get missed? Who didn't get missed? The elected officials.
Oh, always. That's always going to happen.
So there's a problem in
And the
Madison
elected-
County.
And the council can't take away. So if they were giving raises to say Linda Smith wanted to give her office raises and they were going to do that, the council can cut those raises. What the council cannot do is the council cannot cut the raises of department heads or elected officials. They have to ask them to give them back willingly. So that's kind of interesting.
And let me explain to everybody what's happened in Madison County, because no one is willing to push back. Now, finally, Bethany, I think it was Bethany and someone else who pushed back last year. So what was happening is these departments have perpetual funds. Does everybody know what a perpetual fund is? Perpetual fund is like Linda's got marriage certificates or whatever she does. And she'll get $1 off of every marriage certificate she does, right? And that goes into this perpetual fund. So that perpetual fund is like a private stash. It's not counted into their budget, okay? So Linda will come in and she's like, oh, I'm going to give everybody a raise because I've got several $100,000 in here. So everybody's going to get a $10,000 raise. Then say that's what they did in 24. So when she puts the budget in for 26 or 25, they know that they got raises. So they're going to expect to see a little bit of bump in the raises. But who pays that one? The taxpayers. And then what happens to that perpetual fund? Another group of marriage licenses come in and they all get dumped into that perpetual fund and it gets replenished.
Yep.
And nobody gets to control. Has anybody been up to the second floor lately? Because Linda has remodeled the records. She's remodeled the election. She's remodeled her own office. It's all been remodeled. Where did all that money come from? And we don't have money to raise our officers. We now have to support 4 different entities for the health department because that was all bought by grant money. And guess what? We got nowhere to get money for our officers.
Well, it seems like this
Big
has
problems.
been a continuing thing all budget process for Madison County.
Yeah, I mean, it's only going to get worse. And
The budget. Go ahead.
here's the thing. They last night if you listened, Caitlin asked them for a contract. They are unwilling to give a 1-year contract to the sheriffs. I don't know how they're going to hire. I don't know how they're going
to do it. It's good. That is, you know, the union could sue. I don't know what they can do. I don't know if they could or not. The union needs to look into what they can do. There is a major issue with what's happening. The union needs to look at what their options are. They need to, the FOP needs to meet and have a real serious discussion about what they're going to do next, because that is really going to put them in a world of hurt.
Well,
it is essentially going to put a hiring freeze on the county without actually putting a hiring freeze on.
And here's what I'm going to tell everybody. They do need to hire an attorney, even if they have to do a GoFundMe. And I'm going to tell you something.
The FOP has an attorney.
They're going to win.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to win. And when they win, they need to turn around and sue the county for everything it cost them to fight this.
This is such a weird deal. That's such a strange.
It's going to happen. This council is in for, and the thing is I am on a non-disclosure, so I cannot talk about when I sued the county over pay. But I'm going to tell you, they're going to win just like I did.
Oh, yeah.
And I highly recommend Brad Wilson.
What was your non-disclosure for? Was your non-disclosure for the facts of the entire case, or was your non-disclosure for the amount?
Oh, for the facts of the case.
It was for everything of the case.
Yeah.
It wasn't just for the amount.
No, listen. Do you know? Well, see, I can't even tell you about that. There's another part of this. And my attorneys were like, no, that is never going to happen.
Interesting.
So I'm just telling you right now, these sheriffs are going to win in the end.
Oh, yeah. No.
I mean, I'm telling you without a doubt, this council has no idea what they have gotten themselves into.
This is putting the county in a really bad spot, what they're doing.
Oh, it is. And then the commissioners are going to say, no. You guys are the ones that got sued. Not us.
No,
we gave them the contract. They are going to throw these guys completely under the bus. This council, they have thrown you to the wolves, and they are going to fry you up like some fried eggs.
I don't like the commissioners, but the commissioners should, because the council has allowed it to happen. So the council gets what they get, and you can't throw a fit. There's a lot more that we have to discuss, but we've been going for like 2 hours, so we probably should call it an evening, and then maybe regroup at some point. There is a lot that people need to watch. If you want to watch the meeting, it's 4 hours long. It is on Katherine's page. She's got it there. You can go see it. It's almost 5 hours. It's 4 hours, 59 minutes and 17 seconds. And
I'm going to tell you, I want you to pay close attention to when Sheriff Beeman gets up to the podium.
Yeah, that
and
happens.
It's towards the end, and there's discrepancies about the money. And then this council, I shouldn't say this council, Green and Nork begin to speak as if they understand the sheriff's pay and what all goes into this. Mason Brizendine says, "May I approach?" And he is immediately shut down. That is not how you treat.
You know,
any
I'm
office.
gonna have to speak badly about your sheriff friend here for a second, because shame on him for not speaking up and calling.
You mean Beeman?
Yeah, that's the only person I'm talking about. Shame on Beeman for not speaking up and saying, This is the president of the union, and he really could offer some.
Well, here's the thing: they already know, because
I know, but you know what? You know what it would have done.
I agree.
It would have put them at odds.
I don't disagree, but this is like his 4th or 5th time to present in the last 6 to 8 weeks. I mean,
yeah.
Mason's got to be at this point, like, I feel like a broken record. I mean, how hard is this to understand? You entered into an agreement. And this is, I'm going to tell you something right here, right now. That room should be packed in October. And I'm going to tell you why.
Yes.
Because here's the deal. So you want the Elwood and Alexandria to honor some obscure contract that's already been put out there. The Elwood and Alexandria has tried to come to some type of agreement, but the commissioners, they wouldn't meet with them. They wouldn't do anything. This is a standoff. They've got the bigger testicles, so they're going to win this, right? Against the two smaller areas. So everything that was published was a lie. Then I make my I publish my thoughts on it. Well, then what happens? The next morning, there's a retraction. Oh, that's not really what we said. But yes, it is, because I showed you Ted Nolting's thing where you guys were threatening them, right?
Yeah.
So then you move on and you watch them say, well, we're going to go after them because they're not honoring their contracts. Well, what are you doing to the sheriffs? You entered into a contract at 21%, and now you're not honoring it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a huge problem. And quite frankly, they should be grateful that the sheriffs are only asking for 21%, because you know what? Before this is all done, you know what I'd do? I'd be asking for pain and suffering. Because this is a complete nightmare. This stress should never even be applied to the sheriffs. They have enough stress as it is to go out every day wondering if they're coming back home. And you're telling me that you can't honor a 21%, but you're telling me that Rick Gardner got a 31%. You're telling me that Kolb's got a 46%. You're telling me that Mellinger's got a 42%. These people sit behind a desk and suck their thumbs. Half the time they don't even show up for work. let me understand this. So you're telling me that if we've got sheriffs who just sit at home and answer their calls from home, you're going to be okay with that? If they decide they're not going to come in today and they're just going to screw off on the computer and just do some random searches, you're okay with that?
Yeah.
I mean, we're comparing apples and oranges, because these people, I mean, Mellinger's hardly ever in her office. Kolb's hardly ever in his office. Gardner, what's he get? He gets $50,000 to come two times a month for 20 minutes.
Yeah, right.
And at no point have you heard during a commissioner's meeting, what are we going to do for these sheriffs? How can we help the council?
They're not.
You have 3 seasoned commissioners, 3 career politicians on the commissioners, one in which who has been an auditor. 1 and 2 of them who have been on the council before they became auditor and commissioners. Both Richwine and Gardner sat on the council.
Yeah.
And none of them can speak on behalf of these sheriffs. I'm telling you right now, if any sheriffs are watching this, let me explain something to you. Okay? All of you got better things to do than to write tickets. But guess what I'd start doing? I'd be starting to write me some tickets. I'd find their neighborhoods. I'd find wherever. And I'd just start writing me some tickets for family members and all. And you know what? If you're going to take your raises from the county, guess what? We're going to take them back in fines.
Kate wants to know, is the council cutting all the proposed salary increases?
Oh, yes. But here's the deal. This is what I'm trying to tell you. So last night when they put the health department's budget up there, they okayed that. But they didn't realize they've increased, Mellinger increased hers. She increased Joe Davis's. She increased several of her employees. That's why I'm like, show me the itemized.
But if she's increased it and they're cutting it, it'll be cut out of there.
No, what she has as her bottom number, they're letting go. Not only, you have to listen to it. Not only are they letting it go, they're getting a 3% bonus check because they're going to give the sheriffs a 21% bonus check. Now, let me tell you something. If sheriffs are watching this right now, you listen to me and you listen to me good. If they are going to divide your 21% by 4, and they're going to pulse it out and control you like your puppets and pulse this out, they better show you where they've done this in the past with anybody with any type of bonus checks, that it always better been pulsed out. They better also show you that those 3% are also going to be pulsed out just like your guys' are, because this is there is a federal thing on how you treat employees. You cannot just pick and choose. Oh, well, we're going to do this to the sheriffs, but we're not going to do it to these people over here. So I'm telling you right now, Big Mama is watching.
That's a common thing. What they're doing is common. They've done it in other governments where they've said, well, we're not going to give this.
They haven't done it
in
Madison County.
But that don't matter. Right. But if it's legal to do, and if they've never done it, doing it now doesn't make it a problem.
But
it might make it something that somebody needs to do something.
You can't do it for the sheriffs and not do it for the people who are getting the 3% bonuses.
I disagree with that, but
no, that's not fair.
No. Okay, listen. Talking what's legal and fair are two different things.
Oh no, I'm telling you right now.
It is important.
You got to treat
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. This is the thing. This is why people, because here's what needs to happen. This is all screw up, and it's all screw up because of who's in these seats. So if this isn't a big enough reason to get these people and convince them that they need to convince their people to come out, if they know someone that's good that can run against these people, if they know someone good that can run against the commissioners, to put people up. Next year is a county race. Next year's a county race.
Listen,
we need to get people to run against these people, and we need to support them and beat them. That's how you do this. Okay, because that's how you take care of shit when it's unfair. When things happen that's legal but unfair, or legal but it sucks, or legal but it hurts these people or this people or that, you deal with it by sending these people home. And that's what they need to do. Not just fold up and say, well, it sucks, I'm going to go get another job. No, you fight for it. You got to fight for it. You got to fight for what you believe in, and this is a big deal. And if they're doing it wrong or screwing it up and shitting on everything, then we have to fight. And that's what has to happen. But we need to wrap this up. You have last thought?
My last thought is the sheriff should get this 21%. If they don't get the 21%, they're never going to be able to catch up with the cost of living ever. And that's the bottom line, people. It does not matter to me if you respect a sheriff or if you don't. They're never going to catch up. We're never going to be able to retain them. And this is going to be worse than a third world country. People need to understand what happens. And the sheriffs, they're really in control. The council's not in control. The commissioners aren't in control. What people need to understand is if enough of these officers pull out and they're like, okay, we're resigning, right? That means you have to bring in state troopers to man your roads. The county cannot run. They have no bailiffs. They have no courts. They have nobody to give warrants. They have nobody.
They will hire bad people. If Madison County don't like their police now, let me tell you what you won't like anymore.
Anything yet.
When they start hiring just every Tom, Dick, and Harry because they got to fill seats because everybody left. You're not going to like that because you're going to get all the freaks that always want to beat up on people and just want to be cops to have a badge. And that's never a good thing. You want the best people for the job. That's how you don't have people shot stupidly. That's how you don't have racist things happen. That's how you don't have psychopaths with a badge and a gun. You need the very best people possible in these jobs.
And these people stay.
You're fighting against 91 other counties.
Because they're from here.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
And the state police has opened it up. They've got a program where you can do like an Excel, and then you go work for the state police. They can be with them for 3 years, and these guys will be in 6-digit figures.
Oh yeah, it's a lateral transfer, and they just have to do a little extra training. So people do it.
I'm telling you, the next meeting is, I think, October 14th. I think that's a Tuesday. It will be once again another show of sheriffs. Every person who's watching this podcast should be in a seat. They should be up there at the podium saying, what are you doing to our sheriffs? What is wrong with you people?
14.
Is it 14?
Listen. It is
so 14. That's all I can say.
I'm also telling the sheriff's department, this is your pocketbook. This is your purse. You now have, tonight's the 24th, you now have a little under a month. It's like a little under 30 days to get ma and pa to come down, to get your next door neighbor, a babysitter, something, to get the people that you need to watch your kids, to feed the dogs, to do what you got to do. to have your asses in this audience from gavel to gavel. It might be a long meeting, but if you've got people like us fighting for you, look, we're not getting any raise out of this. And if you want the people to fight for you, and everybody knows people don't like police, yeah, I get it. If you've got the public fighting for you, you guys have to be there to fight. I know it sucks. I know it's bad. I look, it all sucks. But if we're there fighting, you got to be there. It's one night. You got to put the time in too. And you can't just storm out because you hear something you don't like. You got to tough through it, and you got to do the shit. And so it's really, it's hard when you see the people that we went through this with AFSCME in Muncie, and they showed up and they were at every meeting, and because it was their pocketbook. You know, you're messing with someone's pocketbook.
That's what I'm saying. These rooms should be crazy filled, right? Standing room. And this is what, if Mason Brizendine or Caitlin or whoever is out there that's watching, I want to give you some advice. The next time you decide to approach the podium and they tell you no, you better walk yourself up there and say, I appreciate what you had to say to me, but you're going to hear this. And I'm going to tell you something else. It will be a cold day in hell when a fellow sheriff comes to that podium and walks your ass out.
Or you know what?
So you walk up to that podium and you say your piece.
Maybe they call for it, but this will be a chance for the sheriff's department to understand when you're dealing with elected officials and you're dealing with heated topics, it is okay to sometimes push back. It's a constitutional issue. You're not going up there like a wild man or a wild woman. You're not up there cussing and carrying on and violent and whatever. Go up there and say your piece. Don't let them turn you away with a gavel. You fight it, man, and let them gavel you and let them tell the sheriff to walk you out. And if he does it, it's constitutionally an issue. So deal with it. Fight it. Do what you got to do. This is your pocketbook. So if you like working in Madison County, this is your life. This is your family. Do it. You got to fight for it.
You are on a live feed where before I got out of that meeting last night, it had like 4,000 or 5,000 views.
Yeah.
Okay. You're on a live feed. You think if they walk you out, I'm not going to make you a special clip just to show? Oh, I absolutely am. And let me just tell you something. You're not going to be the bad guy. Okay.
Yeah.
The bad guy is going to be Green, who has to look at patients every day and be known as the person who said, I didn't pay those sheriffs, and we walked him out. You're going to pound your chest on that, Green? You're going to be bad about that? Let me tell you something. This is going to have a whole snowball effect. So a whole snowball effect. So these sheriffs are in complete control. And you know what? After he's done speaking, guess what? I expect to see about 6 people in line to speak behind him, because you know why? That's exactly what dispatch did. Yeah. They lined that podium. So the dispatch did it right. Got up there and they had all these people in line because they're like, well, when they're done, I'm going to speak. You know what? It may not be the normal way you're supposed to do it, but these are not normal times.
Yeah.
Did you hear them last night? They said they can't promise you anything because they don't know where the money's at. Diana Lycan said this money has already been spent. We don't even know if we're going to have any more money in the future for raises because they've spent all this money recklessly over here for a $4 million anchor park. Are you kidding me? So get up there, get in line, and one by one, you speak. And you know what? If they're going to walk you out, look at each other. Fine. Well, you know what? Walk me out. Here's my badge.
Yeah.
That's the first one to go. Second one gets up there. You're going to walk him out. Great. Here's my badge.
Yeah.
You have the ability. You have to have the strength. And you have to say, we have to stand for something or we stand for nothing. Yeah. Get that Aaron Tippin song out. Listen to it. And remind yourself to stand for something.
I'm going to hook her up with John Sproles. He's an Aaron Tippin fan. I got a picture of Sproles and Aaron Tippin together. That's a real life thing.
You love Sproles. If that's all you're thinking about tonight is Sproles, and I'm trying to think about ways to save it, you got some priorities screwed up in your head too.
I've heard Sproles say that all these things you're talking about down in Henry County.
Oh, you got to stand for something or you stand for nothing?
Yes.
Okay, well, all right. Our people are not going to be shooting people with sandbags.
We hope. And that's never a good thing.
In the meantime, until October rolls around for those sheriffs, start writing some tickets.
Right, tickets.
Build your
Yeah.
stuff up. Like, get
Yeah.
it going.
Absolutely. $3
You know,
at a
get some
time.
DUIs out of this thing.
I heard Culp is frequenting the bars again, so
He is back at it again. I mean,
I
that's
don't
the
know that he's
thing.
drinking. I know that he's a recovering alcoholic. That's great, wonderful for him. I hope he's still recovering, but
wouldn't be hanging
had
out in a
someone
bar.
sent me a picture in a bar. I was kind of concerned. So
Yeah.
Yeah. All this shit would drive me to drinking too, and I'm a teetotaler, so
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Anyways,
We'll
have a
you
great
back
night.
on. Yep.
And we'll see where we go from here.
All righty, thank you very much.
And good luck to those
Katherine.
sheriffs out there.
You know it.
If I can do it, you can do it.
We'll have you back on sometime directly. We'll get back with you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for tonight. Hey, it's Wednesday night. Tomorrow's Thursday. That's the last night of this week. I do want to remind you, just real briefly, we have the episode 001 of the Bilbrey and Clark Show drops Saturday, September 27th. In order to watch that, you need to go to the youtube.com/@Bilbrey Clark Show. You can also go to the audio podcast platform, which is bilbreyclarkshow.fireside.fm. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Bilbrey Clark Show. X is x.com, Bilbrey X Clark, or at Bilbrey X Clark, blah, blah, blah. And if you're interested in going to the event Friday, the night before, to have a good time and maybe eat and drink, whatever, you can get in free, get a hold of me. You can email it at bcshowdump@gmail.com. The event is at 6 p.m. You need to get a hold of me. I'm going to tell you the last, the deadline for this will probably be 3:00 Friday. So if you haven't emailed me by Friday at 3, I'll probably quit looking at that point, but get a hold of me. I will get back to the people who have messaged me in there. If you've already emailed me, and there have been some, I have your email, and we'll take care of you. I'll call you all tomorrow, and we'll deal with you, tell you what's going on the next day or so. So tomorrow's Thursday. We will be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow, episode 531. We have some Muncie things we need to talk about. Some crazy things are going on, and we've got some national stuff that we'll be talking about. So you guys have a good evening. Take care of yourselves. God bless each and every one of you. If you haven't already, smash that like button before you leave. Subscribe to the show. If you haven't already, click subscribe. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. Share the show with everyone you know, help spread the word, and we will see you back here tomorrow. Good night.